All right, today we're going to be turning our engine bay from this into this. So as you can see, the metalwork is all done, and we got it this way by seam welding all the factory panels together, welding in all the spot welds, welding in all the little holes that were left over, cutting off any tabs we didn't need, and then making block off plates for any of the bigger areas that we wanted to take care of. We really chose to take our time with all the metalwork because we wanted to be using the least amount of body filler when it comes time to get this thing ready for paint. So let's jump back into the past and show you what it took to get this thing looking like this. All right, fast forward a couple days and we're still working on the engine bay shave. So we went ahead and we ground down all of these welds and they're looking a lot better, but they still kind of look like shit. So we're gonna get in here with our belt sander, clean all that up, and that'll be looking really good. Now, obviously we have the engine sitting in here in place. So now we can continue with the firewall and the transmission tunnel. So the plan for today is we're just gonna make a whole bunch of cardboard cutouts and we're gonna do all the delete plates for the rest of the engine bay. We're gonna make up the transmission tunnel and we're just gonna get everything welded into place. So let's go do it. When we remade the firewall, we had to change the gas pedal mount. So we moved it about 1.5 inches back from where it sat from factory. And now with it in that spot, it still sits really nice next to the brake pedal, which is awesome. And it still clears the bulge that we had to make down here to fit around the Viper starter. So now that we know that this is good and we don't need to cut it or modify it anymore, we can just continue on with the rest of the engine bay shape. engine bay is all wrapped up. We finished sanding everything just so that it's getting ready for primer, and that's all done now. So you guys just finished watching the cinematic compilation of everything, but we wanted to take a chance to kind of show you everything in a little bit more detail so that you know just kind of what went on behind the scenes. And so starting off on the shock towers, we went ahead and we removed all of the little factory tabs all over the place. So we either massaged them back in or cut around so we could get them smooth. And then, yeah, we welded all the seams, all the different spot welds that were sitting low. And then we did a whole bunch of patches. So we patched in the middle part of the shock tower down here. And then we obviously did this huge open area here, the side of the headlights, back sides of here. And then we did some more patchwork on the sides, on the firewall. And then we got rid of this whole seam that goes all the way across as well and just welded that together. We finished the transmission tunnel up here. And really important little tip is that when you're welding anywhere that you can't get to the back of it, either on the frame rail or in here, you really need to make sure that you sand the metal and weld it with weld-through primer, because once it rains in here, if this was just all exposed, it would instantly just rust out and then ruin your fresh new engine bay shave, which would not be good. Another thing is these engine bays have a ton of seam sealer in them. So even when you think you have it all dug out, go get some like dental picks or something and go in there and dig as much as you can out. And you want to get it looking kind of like this one here, because seam sealer explodes when you weld it, which is so much fun. So if you don't, it will be exploding. It'll be putting hot metal all over you and setting you on fire. And we don't want that. Don't be on fire. I don't recommend it. And then again, this is pretty thin sheet metal all over the place. So you really have to take your time when you're welding, otherwise you'll overheat the metal and you'll start to warp stuff. So we wanted pretty big beads so that we could clean it all up in metal. So you just have to go back and forth and work in multiple areas so that you're giving the metal a chance to cool down, so that like all your suspension still bolts up afterwards. So again, it's really nice with the big bead because you can make that all out of metal, because otherwise you have to go in and put a ton of filler, and then there's nothing worse than a year later at a car show, you hit a big old speed bump and you open your hood and it's cracked all the way down. So we don't want that to happen. So obviously there's still some tiny details left all over the spot, all over the place from welding. And I'm not worried about having a little bit of filler on here, but again, it's just the better job that we do now in the metal work, the longer it's gonna last and the less of a chance there's gonna be of any cracking. So what else? Is there anything else, Lucas?
I don't think so. I think that's about it.
Yeah. So we're not ready to do all the bodywork on this yet. We're gonna wait until we're also doing the bodywork with the rest of the car, because we still have to weld on our rad mounts and some other little miscellaneous stuff. But thanks for sticking around. We really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and make sure you go check out the channel and see everything else that we're up to. See you guys.